this is your host, Julia Napini. I am a clinical and forensic social worker who owns a counseling practice and a consulting business. In this show, we discuss the challenges of being successful in business while maintaining your integrity and staying true to yourself. Join me while I interview other professionals and share insights from life and experience. Let's talk about RingRx, our latest sponsor. RingRx is a high-quality, HIPAA-compliant telephone, text, and fax communications platform. They provide seamless, cost-effective communications for behavioral therapists, medical practices, hospitals, and other healthcare providers. RingRx is designed for modern healthcare environments. They offer customizable features like a phone app, automated patient outreach, voicemail, after-hours call routing, and top-quality desk phones. Try RingRx for free today at ringrx.com. And if you sign up using the code CLIMB, you'll get 15% off your monthly bill forever. Conditions apply. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Compassionate Climb podcast. How cool is it to have a show that has been around long enough to have a repeat guest with significant time in between to really see where they were versus where they are. So our guest today is somebody that I can relate to quite a bit. We've had a similar timeline and trajectory, and I'm really looking forward to hearing about how things are going in her group practice now. So Amanda Hunter, welcome back.
Yay, thank you, and congrats for being here for so long that I can come back.
I know, it's pretty wild thinking back. So yeah, we're 3 years in. So you were on the show, episode 24, and we are now up to episode 129.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. So let me give everyone a little bit of background on where you were at that time, and definitely go back and listen if you haven't checked out that episode yet. So at that time, you had given us some history. So 2019 is when you opened. 2021 is when you started hiring.
Yeah.
And you had just crossed over the 30 clinician mark at that point. But you were saying you had about 5 to 10 admin on any given day, and all of your leadership positions were dual roles. So individuals that were seeing clients and providing some supervision. I know that you had a lot of interns. So fill everybody in on where Everlasting Wellness is today.
Yeah, I feel like it's similar, but different at the same time. So we have about 35 therapists, but the majority of them are now full-time, which means that they're averaging about 50 billables biweekly. So last time I was on, I probably had majority part-time. So it sounds nice, like 35 therapists, but I probably had half and half. Where now probably 90% is full-time. The only people who have been part-time are people who have been here for like forever, but we're only hiring full-time now. We definitely noticed that helps so much more than having part-timers. And for those who don't know, part-timers cost just as much as full-timers do, and you don't get the same ROI with it. And that was really hard for me because we specialize in perinatal and reproductive mental health. So a lot of moms would want to work, but not full time. So that was a really hard decision for me. And now I'm trying to implement that in my admin because we're having a little bit of, ebbs and flows with admin. So now we're like, okay, maybe we just need all full-time staff and see if that helps, because once we switched to full-time with clinical, it was like fireworks. Like everything is just so much easier. It's so much better. Like it's magical. But we have 35 therapists. I counted right before we got on. So it's 35. And we have 2 billers, 2 client care coordinators. We have an administrative compliance coordinator who does like a lot of our chart audits and all of those things. We have a COO and we have a clinical director. Okay. They do still see some clients, not a lot, but they still see some. I still see some. And then we have an executive operations assistant and an executive assistant.
So fill everybody in. So before we get into all of those roles and what they do, when I'm working with people for business consulting and they are at that stage where their solo practice is established and successful and they feel ready to hire someone, or they feel that pull to group practice, they want to make sure they're doing it right. So we get started, we do a deep dive, and very oftentimes they might err on the side of I want to bring somebody on part-time first, maybe contractor instead of employee. And I try to share as much as I can about why I would really encourage full-time staff when and if you can, a gradual build, employees over contractors, anything else that you think is important for people to hear. So you said part-timers cost just as much. People hear benefits, and I think they assume that there's obviously a high expense with that, which there is. But what else would you say to those that are maybe leaning more towards part-time and the transformation that it's made in your practice, having almost 90% full-time?
Yeah, I would definitely say like, just take the leap. If you're gonna do it, just go do it. Like just go jump in the deep end, and if it works out, it works out. If it doesn't, it doesn't. At least you know that it did. But I heard the advice too of make sure you have about a full caseload on a wait list before you hire somebody on anyway. So if you have about 30-ish clients like already on a wait list, like start looking, to hire, and that could be very beneficial. Yes, benefits do cost a lot of money. Every year they go up. Last year they went like our medical benefits, they went up 27%. And not all my employees accept medical. So it really actually kind of like evens itself out. We also pay $2 more an hour if you don't take our medical. So we try to like get a little bit of an incentive there. Yeah. No, well, we do offer like every benefit under the sun though, other than educational reimbursement, like the tax deduction. We don't offer that one yet. We might eventually. But for now we don't. But yeah, medical can be expensive. 401k is actually probably a little bit more than our medical, and you retain. So if you look at how much it costs to onboard and offboard, or like when people come on or when people leave, it is extremely expensive. So if you're able to offer benefits, offer the things that you can, and you can slowly do this. Like this is not something that I like did all at once. Like we did not offer benefits right away. It took a little bit to offer it. Then we only offered medical. We didn't offer vision and dental. We didn't have a 401k plan until, like a year later. And we have rules around that. So like 401k, you can't get onto that until you're here for 6 months. So you got to show me some kind of commitment before I start putting out thousands and thousands of dollars for your retirement that you may not even be here. There's also different types of 401ks, which again, slowly learning all of this, why consulting with Julia and other people are so important, because I didn't know any of that. I just used Gusto, and whatever they told me to do, I did. And now I'm learning like, oh no, there's a simple IRA and there is this, and like you don't have to vest, or you can put a vesting like timeline on there. And these are words I never even knew of, before. So, but the time, the energy that it takes to onboard somebody and to offboard somebody, I definitely think it all founds itself. Like if you really look at the numbers, and also full time, they're more committed. They want to be involved. They want to, hey, I have a client who really needs da 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 da. Okay, whatever. I'll add one more client. Or I'm already seeing, 25 clients a week. I'll add one more. I'll help out, or I'll add one-time coverage for somebody, versus people who are part-time and have another job. So I feel like those are different as well. So like my part-timers who don't work anywhere else are very committed. However, the part-timers that we have, it's not that they're not committed, it's that they can't be, because they have a full-time job somewhere else. And most of them have children. So like they're also focused on their child and all the things. And it's not that I don't think they want to be here. They work really hard. They're wonderful people. I just think it's very different. You can feel it. They also don't attend a lot of our events, where like the full-timers, they're there, they show up, they bring their family, they're like talking to everybody. So I think like those things, even though they don't have a price tag to it, you need to add one to that. So like, are you building your culture? Are you building a place where people want to be forever or for a really long time at least?
You highlighted so many significant things there. So when people think benefits, very oftentimes they jump to paid time off and maybe health benefits and then retirement. What else does Everlasting offer in addition to that came in time?
Oh my gosh. I feel like I need to pull up my my benefits for the first thing. So we do offer 4 weeks of PTO. We have medical, vision, and dental. We have 401k. We have a 504 plan. We also, oh my gosh, I really do feel like I need to like
do disability.
Yep, short-term disability, long-term disability. I feel like that's like the majority of them, but I do feel like I'm missing one.
And were
Oh,
you talk?
HSA, FSA, all those things. Yep.
Okay. And then you mentioned, was it tuition reimbursement you were talking about? So do you offer continuing
Yes.
education reimbursement? Okay.
Yep. Yeah. We offer continuing ed, but there is like a new tax rule that like you can, for business owners, it's a write-off. You can offer X amount of money a year to your employees. It is a hefty amount, and I I don't feel comfortable yet with our finances at Everlasting yet.
Mm-hmm.
We're definitely there. I'm also my accountant always jokes with me like, Amanda, you have so much financial trauma because she's like, you have the money to do this, like do it. But I get a little nervous, sometimes
Mm-hmm.
with it. And also, I have noticed that a lot of my team, at least, would rather get raises and bonuses. So we did also implement a bonus structure so
Mm-hmm.
they can get up to $2,000 extra every year with this new bonus structure. So I
Okay.
would rather get back that way. And I also asked my team, like, what would you rather do? And the majority of them say they want more money in their pocket than something else.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so before we get into the bonus structure, if you're comfortable sharing,
Yeah.
how do you handle productivity? So, what do you require? You said it's typically 50 billable hours for every 2 weeks. So, how do you track that? And what do you do if somebody's not meeting it?
Yeah, and these are always really difficult conversations. And honest, like I am such an open book. I will gladly talk to you about it. And I'm also like in the back of my head, I'm gonna get so much hate for this, because I know people don't like accountability. People think we're supposed to like bend over backwards all the time, and it's just not the reality of being a business owner. Like we have to
Mm-hmm.
have accountability. We have to have
Yeah.
KPIs. We have to like do all the things. And it's funny because it's like if this was like 7 years ago. I would totally
Right.
be like, that girl's going to burn everybody out and whatever. But it's like, this is kind of the reality of life. But,
Yes.
so we ask our team to put 30 available, spots in their availability calendar. We have simple
Mm-hmm.
practice. And we ask that they at least hit 50 biweekly. So usually, so if you're thinking like 25, 25, so 25 plus 25 is 50. Most like consultants will tell you 25 a week. So that's kind of how we got around it. Again, we work with some moms. Some moms see their kids like 1 week on, 1 week off. So it kind of worked out that way. So they could like bulk up on the week that they're not with their kiddos. So
Mm-hmm.
we ended up doing that way. I know some places still do monthly. I'm not there yet. I guess it's a trust thing maybe. But I'm not. But what we do is we have clinical supervisors and they have
Mm-hmm.
about 5 to 6 people underneath them. And part of their job on Monday or Tuesday, whatever day that they decide to do, they have to do availability audits. So they have to go through each person and they have to check to make sure that there is the correct amount of availability. And certain things do and don't count. So if you're putting in one-time coverage, like that might not count. If you're putting a floater availability though in for a client who can just float around, then that would
Mm-hmm.
count. So we're trying to do things like that. And again, I hear all the things like that's not fair. I hit my billables. Why do I have to do that? But and again, a couple of years ago, I would have been like, no, they're right. Don't push it. Like they always hit their billables, all the things. But now I'm like, no, if we do it for one, we have to do it for all. Like
Mm-hmm.
this is that fairness piece of it, the accountability piece of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, our I guess another benefit, we also offer more money when you go above 25 clients. So if you see 26 plus, you get 10 extra dollars. So like even if they do go above a little bit more, they're getting 10 extra dollars, for that billable hour.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we have our supervisors kind of do the accountability. If they go under 2 pay periods, then they get a write up. We also, if you're under, you have to use your PTO. So we do give a lot of PTO, but if they are under, they have to use PTO to make it up.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is a huge incentive because people don't want to use their PTO for billables. It's also a huge incentive to charge people the no-show and late cancellation fee because if they charge it, they can count that as a billable and then they
Mm-hmm.
don't have to use PTO for that.
Got it. Okay, that
Yeah.
makes a lot of sense. I love it. So, how does the bonus structure work?
Okay, so we have different percentages for each thing. So we're looking at utilization rate, retention rate, and there's 3 different tiers. So there's one more thing that I feel like I needed to like pull things up before on to this.
I was just expecting you to have all of this straight off the
Yes,
dome.
yes, yes. Now I need to find you again. Okay, because the positive thing, actually sitting here not knowing all these answers right now, is like, wow, like I'm actually pulled out of some things that I am so happy that I don't have to be involved.
Yeah, that's a
So
really
we
good
look
sign.
at utilization rate, retention rate, and cancellation rate.
Okay.
And how we have it is we do have a separate from full time to part time as well, because it's a little bit harder for full timers to like kind of navigate their schedules, or part timers, again, the ones who aren't working somewhere else, they have more flexibility. Like, oh, if, like the snow, oh, I'll just work on Friday. I'm supposed to work on Monday, but I'll just work on Friday. It's no big deal. Where like the full timers are like, wait, I already work on Friday, so like I
Mm-hmm.
can't do that. But those are the ones that we look at, and then we have percentages to each one, which we also use Practice Vital. So Practice Vital will pull those numbers for us, which is beautiful. And we
Mm-hmm.
sit in on all of their stuff. So we don't, it's not 100%, right? So it might be like 107% because we're giving $1,000 bonus. So if you want that $1,000 bonus, you do need to go above and beyond, because you're
Right.
already getting a bonus if you go above 25 clients. So you get 26 plus, you get 10 plus. You see private pay couples, you get 15 plus. Like we do all these different things.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, we're also trying to offer a bonus twice a year. So it's biannually. So we'll do
Okay.
it like January to June, then you get it in July, and then from July to December, you get it in January. But we have different tiers. We have tier one, tier two, tier three, and then tier one, you don't get paid anything.
Mm-hmm.
And then tier two, you get paid like 500, and then tier three, you get paid 1,000. And
Got
this
it.
is all like subjective to the financial health of our business. So like if our business is not doing well, obviously we can't give this bonus and all the things. So
Mm-hmm.
we try
Mm-hmm.
to make that as transparent, or like maybe one year we'll only be able to do 500, or whatever the case might be. But I just listen to my accountant and my bookkeeper, and they tell me how much I can and can't give. And
Mm-hmm.
I just go from there. We literally just did this, and we're giving out $35,000 in bonuses. So that's pretty cool that my team like hit it. So,
That's amazing. So,
mhm.
all right, before we get into leadership, because I definitely want to know what all of those positions look like in your group, I have to ask, most people don't know this stuff. And just the comparison and the snapshot from where you were versus where you are, you have
Yeah.
streamlined, you have systematized, you've done the math. So, what has helped you to get to this point? Where did you learn all of this? Who did you use for a resource besides your accountant? What's been helpful to get all of these things in place on paper?
Consulting. Like that is just the easiest answer I can say. Even
Mm-hmm.
when people reach out to me, sometimes I'll do consulting, but it just depends on like where they're at. I know you said earlier when we were talking about like when people are going from solo to group, like I wouldn't like that. Like I would want if
Mm-hmm.
you're a group and then want to go like even more
Yeah.
type thing. But consulting has really helped. I do speak with Ken Clark. I'm in his groups. He's amazing. I listen to your podcast. I listen to all these other podcasts that I feel like I grew up with them, right? Like I'm listening to
Mm.
where they're at and what they're doing. And I'm like, oh, wow. Okay. Like I would love to do that. Or sometimes I'm like, nope, that would not be a me thing. Like that's not for me.
Yeah.
Consulting is not cheap, but it's worth it.
Mm-hmm.
I talk to my lawyer on like a monthly basis to make sure that we're compliant with everything. I
Mm-hmm.
am a rule follower. I will always do everything and anything that someone tells me I need to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I pay lots of money in lawyer fees. Actually, the one quarter we paid, I mean, our top was payroll. Payroll is always the most expensive thing. But lawyer fees was actually higher than rent the 1 month. So it was a little crazy, but I
Mm-hmm.
really like my lawyer. I trust him and everything that he says. I know he's got my back because we definitely have gone through some things, which is also a huge growing pain thing.
So, as far as leadership goes, so fill us in on these positions and what they entail. So, we were talking before we started recording about how a clinical director could look very different in terms of their roles and responsibilities from one practice to the next. So, what
Yeah.
do all these titles mean and how are they helping?
Yeah. So like we said earlier, still trying to figure that out. because growth is fun, but it's growth. So kind of like when you grow as a person, you have to buy new shoes and buy new clothes, and then you have to figure out what you like on your body and what you don't like on your body, right? So I feel like it's very similar for that of, hey, let's try this title, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Like, and we
Hmm.
kind of figure that out. I would probably say the hardest position that we've been trying to figure out is my COO position. She was my clinical director and then moves up to COO. And she is so good at like SOPs and like all of those things. And then we
Hmm.
have people moving in our company. So like we've had someone step down from our administrative and billing team. So now like my COO is taking over that. Like I'm taking over billing and she's taking over, admin, but I'm trying to teach her. I want to teach her billing so that I don't have to be in billing in the day to day like this and all of that. And I think that's been one of the hardest transitions is just trying to get someone to almost like take over my role essentially,
Yeah.
because I still am very much so in the day to day. But it's hard to like because I also like it. Like I like being in the day to day. So it's this like weird balance. But there are definitely times where I have severe ADHD, if you can't tell. And I will just sit here and I'm like, I want to use my superpower, right? Like I want to be able to hyper focus and develop a program or do consulting or like I want to do these things, but I can't because I'm so far in the day to day still.
Mm.
So we have my COO who like is so eager to learn and like willing to learn and all the things. And then we have my executive assistant where I had one executive assistant and then she had to move forward with something else. So now we have a newer executive assistant and it's challenging to like remember what it felt like to do more than what I'm used to doing.
Hmm.
Definitely, of course, always makes you appreciate the other person. Of course, like I appreciate her so much. We're still really good friends. I have me and her photo right here next to me. But now having someone newer who's only been here for like 90 days, I think ish, like she's amazing. Like she's fantastic, but it's definitely a lot of learning curves where I had somebody here for 2 years. And then the person who was here for 2 years with me did everything, like literally everything. Like she thought for me. Like I didn't even need to like have a thought in the day. Like she's like, I got this. Like don't worry about it. So we actually had to divide her role. So everything that this one person was doing, now we have two people. So we have my EA and then we have an executive operations assistant. So we did add on to that role. So now that person will actually be more so under my COO instead of me. So we're hoping because her brain is very much so KPIs. And for those who are listening, before you grow, get KPIs. Please get KPIs because I do not have them. And I am working on them. And I can tell you that it makes me want to jump, jump,
Hmm.
just jump, like go touch grass. Like it's something like it is infuriating for someone who has a visionary brain and not an operation or implementation brain. Like it is
Hmm.
very challenging for me.
Yeah.
But hopefully she will be able to continue to assist my COO on that because my COO also doesn't have that brain.
Hmm.
So now we have this person who asks us a million questions all day. Like, what is the KPIs for this? What is this? What is that? What are you expecting from this? And I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know because I'm the visionary. I can tell you what I want. Like, and I could tell you like what I think we should do. And then, or my COO, she's like, I'll tell you how to implement it. So now
Hmm.
I'm hoping that now with this EOA, she can help us with the KPIs after or like in between us implementing it and all of the things there. And then we
Yeah.
have our clinical director who pretty much just does everything clinical. So she's right now she is supervising the Ascend team, which is our interns and the supervisors who are still supervising them.
Hmm.
And then she supervises all of the supervisors and she's got about like 10 people under her herself. So she's working hard and like her brain is awesome. Like she is so like how are we gonna grow? How are we getting more money? And how are we doing this? Like, like I want to do this. And like right now she's looking at assessments and doing all of those things. And like she loves podcasts and like leadership things and all of the stuff. And she'll bring it in every Friday. We have a collab meeting for like 2 hours and it's like all those people. And
Hmm.
she's like, how can we do this? Have we ever thought about this assessment? How about? So it's nice because she's a visionary, but she's also an implementer. So
Hmm.
she kind of lives in the middle there. And then I'm very reactive and pretty much everybody else other than our EOA is not reactive. Like everyone's very much so like, let's sit back, let's hang out with this thought where I'm like, oh my gosh, no, this is a great thought. Let's go do this. Like I want to go do this. But that's kind
Yeah.
of like where everyone's role is. They're still like, we're still evolving it. We're still kind of figuring it out. Like I said before, offboarding and onboarding is expensive, but this is also part of that. Like we had our EOA step up from admin to an EOA, and then we have a brand new EA. So it's taking a lot of time, like
Yeah.
to kind of figure out those roles and what that will look like. And this all just happened in like November, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So
So it's still in process.
it's very much so still in process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think that's so helpful for people to see. You experience so much growth. There are times when things happen that we didn't necessarily expect. We have to pivot, correct.
Yeah.
And then you are seeking out advisors and other people that can help you with maybe suggestions for how to optimize things. And, you have a leadership team and you are obviously aware of your numbers and tracking your key performance indicators. There's so much to this. I think that's the thing that I hear the most often because my goal is I want to catch people before they start making the mistakes.
Yeah.
I want them to make sure that their solo practice is solid and the foundation is strong before they ever hire someone. I don't want them to be in a position where they start it and then they pay somebody a rate that's not sustainable, or they decide on percentage versus flat fee, or they offer a benefit that's not affordable, because I feel like that's my trauma because I had some of those experiences and had to have those really hard conversations with people and then readjust. And so I spend a lot of time with people that are in that stage. And very oftentimes when we start going over the things we're going to focus on, I see that look and they get overwhelmed and wow, there's a lot more to this than I thought of. And I want to make sure that before people grow, they have as much information as possible to determine if this is the right move for them, because it isn't for everyone.
Yes, and the flip side of that is when you're just starting out, you think you don't have enough money to pay for consulting, right? So like whatever your rate is, like they went, I don't have that. I don't have that extra. I don't know what your rate is, but like, say it's 200 or 300. Like I don't have that money. Trust me, you do. Trust me, because you can make a $10,000 mistake that someone could have saved you for 100, 200, $300. Like I remember, when I was starting out Everlasting, I didn't even know if I wanted a group practice or not. It was just like me. And then my best friend at the time, who unfortunately passed away, but she was like, I really need, I can't work where I'm working. I need another job. Can I please work for you? And I was like, eh. And I said, of course, I said yes. And then, but I didn't want a group practice. So it was just like her and I, and that was kind of it. And I posted on Facebook or something that I hired her. And someone reached out to me and was like, hey, I work for da 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 and I offer consulting. Would you want to consult? And I was like, she's only one county down from me. She probably knows a lot. So I was like, awesome. Yeah. Cause sometimes consultants are all over the country, right? So like they don't know your state rules.
Right.
And this woman was only a half hour away from me. So I was like, I'm going to live and breathe everything you tell me. Cause she does have a very successful business. And I still look up to her very much so. But she was working for somebody else at the time for consulting, and she was like, yeah, it's kind of like group consulting. You get, you pay this fee a month. And I was like, I don't have that kind of money. Like, and I think it was like $130 a month. And I was like, I don't have $130 a month, because at that time I was probably only making like, cause when you start out and people are like, I can only afford $40. You're like, yeah, whatever. Like, that's fine. I'll take it.
Right.
Kind of thing. And now I very much have learned from that of like, no, I can't take that. Like, unfortunately, like there are other people who may, but it's not going to be me.
Yes.
But consultants teach you that and they help you understand that, because yeah, I was working almost 40 plus hours a week seeing clients, but it was because I was only charging people 20 to 40, $50, a session with my LCSW, PMHC, CCTP, like all of the things. Like I knew I was good at what I was doing. But she really helped me, and thank God she reached out to me, because I don't know if I would have ever reached out for consulting. And now I pay a monthly fee to consult. and in a lot of consulting, things, anytime anyone's like, free this, free that, got it, noted. Like I'm signing up for it. Even if I can't watch it right now, I'll have the recording. And but I think it's really, really important. Consulting is extremely important. And again, no matter how much they charge, if you know they are reputable and they can show you that they are with like their practice size, or people, word of mouth is such a big thing. Pay it, because Julia can save you $10,000 down the road.
And it sounds like it's gotten you to a place where you now have this excess where you can pay out $35,000 in bonuses to your team. In addition to paying them really well, they get benefits. They're in a positive workplace culture. So it's just so remarkable to see how far you've come, the growth. You've withstood the test of time, challenges, difficulties. You're learning all the time, but you're also transparent. You're enthusiastic. It's infectious. People want to be a part of this. They see what you're doing. They see what you're creating. And I remember that's what stuck out to me the most when I learned about your team in the beginning. It was all about the team. It was all about the events that you do, coming together as a group, and this mission that you have that has been really prominent through everything. So it sounds like you've been able to maintain all of that. You shared so much helpful information today. Is there anything that we didn't cover that you wanted to make sure that you share or leave people with today?
I think kind of like what you just hit on, like culture is so important. Like, so again, even if you can't afford the expensive medical benefits and all the things, 'cause I couldn't do that either for like a year. But the OGs, knock on wood, they're still like, they are still with me. Like they're still here. They went through all of the ups and downs and all of the things, and now like two of my first two hires, like they're coming up on 5 years, and they had babies here, and like it's just, it's just so I can like get teary-eyed talking about it because like they mean so much to me personally and professionally, and they mean so much to the community. Like people know who they are, and culture is just so important. And I think transparency is so important. There are going to be some therapists that get scared. You're telling me way too much, business is going to fail, whatever. And then you have the other ones who are like, I trust Amanda. I trust what she's saying. And a lot of people appreciate, like, if it's not a good quarter, or it's not, everyone knows about insurances, who accepts them, right? Like you never know if you're going to get cut in half, or you're actually going to get paid, or what, whatever the case might be. And I'm very transparent with our team with that. So I think culture, transparency, and as much as you can give, even a little bit, people come to work for you. So if you can show them just a little bit of who you are here and there, I think it goes such a long way.
Couldn't agree more. There was so much that you shared that I resonated with. I know our audience will as well. So definitely check out Everlasting Wellness. Follow them on social media. Whoever is managing that does such a great job. I feel like there's always positive things to acknowledge and recognize, and just such a supportive group. So thank you so much for coming back on the show and sharing everything you did.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. Anytime.
If you like what you're hearing, please rate and review. This will help others find us and benefit as well. The Compassionate Climb podcast represents the opinions of Julia Nepini and her guests. The information provided is intended for educational purposes only and should not be taken as legal advice. If that is what you are seeking, please consult an attorney.